Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next SEEKS SES Early Childhood Community of Learning. This topic for this video is building relationships. Welcome back. We're glad to have you here listening and watching with us. So for today, we'll check in about our community norms, talk a bit about our topic, read the book together, and reflect together. We'll see what's happening next in the COL series, and then think about ways we can start utilizing what we're learning together in our daily practices. As usual, we're going to start with our community norms. We want this to be a safe and engaging space where we all feel comfortable listening, speaking up, and sharing with each other, whether that be virtually or in your discussion groups or when we get together in person. So we want to be responsive and respectful to each other, remain open so that we can learn with and from each other, embrace discomfort, dissonance, and fear as opportunities to learn and grow. Stories stay, lessons leave, practice, repeat, practice. And I wanted to think together, since hearing these in the first video and hearing them again today, do you have any thoughts on if you might add, edit, or change any of these norms for our community of early childhood practitioners? Let us know. We take your thoughts and feedback very seriously. This is your group, and we are simply facilitating reflection and discussion. Just a reminder, as we're in this community of learning or community of practice together, this community will connect people, organizations, systems that are eager to learn and work across boundaries in pursuit of a shared goal. Common characteristics include sharing and collaborating, wondering and reflecting, listening and responding, connecting and creating. So let's get ready to read our story. Before we dive in, go ahead, grab a notebook and pen for your thoughts and wonderings. And while we read through the story, jot down any feelings that might come up for you, any pages that might stand out, or any thoughts you have as we go through the story. And as you're doing that, let's take a moment to prepare ourselves to be present in this moment. Take a deep breath or two in through your nose and out through your mouth. Once you have your writing materials, you've sat in your chair, on your sofa, at your desk, on the ground, wherever you're most comfortable. Close your eyes if you are in a safe space to do so and ground yourself in this moment. Try imagining roots like a tree planting you to this moment in this space, and let's take 3 deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth, and in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now let your breathing come naturally as you sit in this space, ready to listen, reflect, and wonder together. Now, as I said, this is your group. Your comments, questions, and responses help us create each of these communities of learnings in ways that are most beneficial to all of you. Because of that, we're changing up the way you'll respond to these reflections to make things more seamless and overall hopefully easier for everyone. So at the end of this video, there'll be a QR code to scan with your phone. You'll see it here now, but you don't need to use it yet. There'll be instructions on how to do this at the end of the video, and this will open up a survey with space for you to reflect on today's session. It's our way of collecting attendance, seeing how the community is learning and growing, and make updates like we are today with this new method of surveying. You can still comment on the video itself if you'd like on our website or on YouTube. You can still respond to each other there, discuss, reflect with each other. But we'll use this QR code at the end to choose those questions that, again, I'll share with you to answer and reflect. So thinking about today's core message, keep in mind building relationships and how recognizing, accepting, and celebrating differences can make our relationships stronger and increase wellness for all. Again, as we read through our Office of Child Development definition of SEL, think about ways in which you might edit this, add to it, change it. Does this make sense for you in your work? Does this reflect your experience with SEL? Social emotional learning is building brave and healthy relationships with ourselves and others in diverse communities. All right, let's read. We're reading Your Name is a Song by Jamila Tompkins Bigelow. We're going to do things a little bit differently than last video. As I read the story, I'll post some reflections for you throughout. We may comment on illustrations, wonder how we might use the story in our classroom. Let's begin. Your Name is a Song by Jamila Tompkins Bigelow, illustrated by Luisa Uribe. To start off our story, we have a page with no words. How might we engage the students right from the beginning in SEL? We could comment on the way the characters' facial expressions look, ask them to describe what is happening in this picture. Think about what we might think the next page will discuss. How does this first page make you feel as an adult? I'm not coming back ever again, the girl stomped. Please don't stomp unless we're stepping in a drill team, Mama said. Was your first day of school so bad? The girl looked down. No one could say my name. How might you feel if no one could say your name? No one? Not even your teacher? Mama asked. She tried. It got stuck in her mouth. A street musician swayed and played. Mama closed her eyes until she swayed too. Tell your teacher that your name is a song. The girl wrinkled her brows. I can't say that. Names aren't songs. Sure they are. Take the name Olumide. Olumide is a melody, girl, and so is Kotaune. The girl whispered names. Tap to tap went her feet. Mamadou is a beat. Tend away to stretches out like a love song. Remember, being uncomfortable is an okay place to be, even in front of your students. When you're modeling being uncomfortable in front of your students, you can show them that your classroom is a safe place to make mistakes, be unsure, and try anyway. Yes, girl, names are songs. Sing your name. Your teacher will learn to sing it too. The girl did a jig as they walked on. But then her feet slowed. Umi, she called to her mama. During snack, some girls pretended to choke on my name. There's a big feeling shift between these two pages. How might you highlight that with your students? At the red light, a car boomed hip hop beside them. The bass pounded from their heads to their toes, even in their chests. Pat, 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 Mama patted her chest. Tell those girls some names must be said from here, not the throat. Names come from your heart? The girl asked. Say the name Ha from there. You gotta go deeper to say Ahlam. The mama looks like she's feeling proud on this page. How might we model feeling proud for our students? As they crossed, the girl touched her chest. Juana is here. Ngozi goes deeper. It pokes me in the stomach. Yes, girl, from your heart say your name. Those girls will learn to use their hearts too. The girl bopped to the beat as they walked on. In art, one boy's eyes got all wide when I said my name. Is my name scary? Imagine thinking something about yourself was scary to other people in the classroom or your other friends or peers. How might that make you feel? Have you ever had students be afraid of another student in class, and how did you handle that? Wires sparked above a streetcar, and Mama and the girl jumped back, startled. Mama put a calming hand on the girl's shoulder. Tell that boy, some names have fire. You can put fire in a name? Listen to all the strength that Mama is giving to this little girl. So many examples of ways that we can appreciate and acknowledge uniqueness about something so powerful to us as our name. Kwaku storms in on a Wednesday and fire dances in Sagnika, Mama said. Names are that strong? The girl asked. Siomara fights a battle in your mouth. Tongues bow to say Bilksis. Julong lunges like a dragon. And Udam. Udam is magnificent. The girl's lips trembled. Yes, girl, just like you. On her toes, the girl rose and kicked as they walked on. What about the kids at recess who said my name sounds made up? Mama pointed up. Tell them that made up names come from there. From the sky? The girl asked. Made up names come from dreamers. Their real names were stolen long ago, so they dream up new ones. They make a way out of no way, make names out of no names, pull them from the sky. The girl reached up to pull names too. Tajay and Trayvon, they sit in the clouds with Jalante. Let's sit with the concept of stolen names for a moment. Have you ever silently judged a student's name? Or have you ever been uncomfortable pronouncing a student's name? Think about why those names were stolen and what kind of empowering feeling it would be to use a made up name pulled from the sky. These are experiences we can learn and grow from. Thinking about judging a student's name, being uncomfortable around a student's name, these things might happen. And these are experiences we can grow from. Mama nodded. And Laquan and Lamika are the twinkle in stars, the glimmer in minds that think and tinker. Are these names new songs? The girl asked. Yes, girl. Tell everybody to learn new songs too. The girl twirled and leapt to the sky, and they walked on. The next day, the girl didn't want to go to school, but she had songs to teach. In this moment, I want us to think about who the burden of making a change is on. Yes, we see this story as empowering, inspiring, uplifting, and it is beautiful to see children as brave change makers. But think about putting this on the shoulders of a child in real life. It takes a lot of social emotional skill, self-regulation skill to be brave and do something like teach these name songs. Why might we want to think about changing who has this burden? Who would we give it to? Line up, Miss Anderson hollered. The girl looked to the sky. She saw dreams and fire there. Miss Anderson hollered names. Benjamin. Tap to tap went the girl's feet. Here. Siobhan to tap here. Olivia to tap here. The girl stopped tapping. Her name was getting stuck in Miss Anderson's mouth again. The girl sang. The whole class stared. What are you doing? Miss Anderson asked. I'm singing my name so you'll learn it. Names aren't songs, Miss Anderson huffed. Miss Anderson, sang the girl. Miss Anderson frowned. Your name is a pretty song, said the girl. How do we think the teacher is feeling in this moment? How might you feel as a teacher if you were in this situation? Miss Anderson's frown slowly turned into a smile. Why, thank you. What about me? Bob asked. What's my song? The girl belted out, Bob! Other kids asked for songs too. She sang and sang their names. This is a beautiful depiction of building community in her classroom. She's being brave. Remember what we reflected on of who has the burden of being brave and making change? While this is very inspiring, how might we have seen an adult take over and carry this burden for the child in this moment? Could you, as the teacher, shoulder some of that burden? Miss Anderson asked, Could we hear your song again? The girl sang her name. The teacher sang it back. One kid sang it, then another and another. Everyone sang her name. Cora de Lemuso. It was music to her ears. Let's think about these names in the story. Something special about this book is there's a glossary of names that are featured. Each has a special meaning. Some may have similar translations in different languages. Have you ever looked up the origin of your name? We have names of Arabic origin, meaning dreams, like Ahlam. We have Hebrew, English, Dutch, African American, Vietnamese, Chinese, Spanish origins, each having their own unique and special meaning to them. Look at all of these beautiful names, each so unique, each meaning something so special. Have you ever had a name come up in your classroom with your students that you thought was particularly special or beautiful? The end. Let's reflect on the origin of names. Have you ever looked into the origins or beginnings or translations of your name? Let's think about this in the context of stolen names that was discussed in the book, and how there's a whole new group of names with new origins being created. As you research the history and linguistics of your name, check in with your emotions. How does it feel to be connected to a group of people in the past through something as important as your name? How might it feel to not have that connection? Or how might it feel to be a start of this type of connection? Here's some information I found about my name, deriving from the Hebrew word Rachel. It was a common name amongst Jews in the Middle Ages, but not generally used as a Christian name until after the Protestant Reformation. There's other languages and cultures that use similar names or translations of the name, as you can see here. Rachela, Raquel, Rachel, Rachela. I found a lot of this information at behindthename.com. I would encourage you, after watching this video, to take a peek, Google your name, Google the linguistics, the origin, the background, and see if it makes you feel connected to the past. Does it make you feel connected to maybe your ancestors? If you do take a peek, let us know by commenting on the video or emailing me at healthychild@pitt.edu. Reflecting on the story, think about being seen in a positive light by ourselves and by others. I wonder, what makes each of us unique? What are we each passionate about? What are we each most proud of? When we learn this about ourselves and about each other, we can celebrate it together. Being unique is something to honor and visibly welcome into each of our relationships. You may have a very diverse classroom. This may make students feel safe and welcome in their environment. If you don't have a very diverse classroom this year, How can we help them grow their understanding about the world by still doing things such as celebrating differences, celebrating uniqueness? Think about recognizing our own limitations and biases that have come up from the types of oppression we've been exposed to. Forms of oppression and privilege include, but are not limited to, racism, heterosexism, classism, ableism, transphobia, anti Semitism, and ageism. We're all exposed to these, no matter where we live, what culture we live in. Even if we don't think we do, we'd bring those experiences into our relationships and need to do our own work to see that and disrupt them within ourselves. For example, did judgment come up maybe when someone has a name we've never heard of before or we have trouble pronouncing? Do you attempt to pronounce it? Does that happen for all names that are new to you or just for names that are from non-privileged groups? Study your reactions and practice changing them if they're not serving your relationships well. Addressing relationship challenges. All relationships have challenges. There may be something harmful that was said, lingering tension or discomfort, or differences in beliefs or ways of being together. When we expect relationships to be free of challenges, we are setting ourselves up for failure. Healthy relationships are authentic enough to make space for those challenges to surface and get through the struggles that arise from those challenges. This will likely require understanding that challenges are a normal part of all relationships, and it will require getting more comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's part of our community norms, even being in a spot of dissonance or uncomfortableness or distress and feeling okay navigating through that. Things to pay attention to when we're addressing relationship challenges. Do both people experience these challenges or just one person, and why? When people are struggling to build a new relationship or to repair harm that occurs, who takes the first step to address it? Who makes compromises or forgives most often? Notice patterns in these burdens and if they're equitably shared. It can be difficult and challenging to be the person that makes a compromise or who addresses harm first. Confrontation is difficult, but how can we create an authentic and safe relationship where those challenges can feel safe, even if they still feel uncomfortable? And then think about this in relation to your work with children. You may go through challenges with a child who is experiencing behavioral issues in the classroom. Or maybe you experience relationship challenges when you're trying to build a relationship with a parent of a student in your classroom. And speaking of this, let's think about using this book in early childhood. As I read, we talked a bit about using each page to look at facial expressions, think about differences in emotions. But how else might we use this book in our classrooms? There might be some concerns, right? It can be uncomfortable learning and pronouncing new names. That's okay. Opportunities for practice, healing, connection, and modeling are all together in this book. By showing that you need to practice, children know that they can practice. They can make mistakes, and it's a safe place to try again. The author raises the reality of the teacher's resistance to what the child was teaching and telling her about her own name. Let's think about that. It might make you just uncomfortable to read that story, to read that position the teacher had in the story, but it models a transformation of attitude and a celebration of others. As a teacher, you know it's your responsibility to build trust and relationships with the children in your classroom. Our differences do not have to divide us. Some ideas. There was a great example of replacement behavior when she comes stomping out of the classroom and the mom says, "Please don't stomp unless you're in drill team." Come up with a list of some behaviors together. Children love being bought in to these lists of behaviors, rules, because they feel like they have that connection to their list and their expectations in the classroom. Connect emotions with physical feelings. So when you're angry, does your face get hot? When you're excited, do you feel jittery or like jumping up and down? Connecting the physical to the emotional can really help build children's emotional literacy. And I'm sure all of you were thinking this as we read. There are amazing opportunities in this book for music and movement activities. Bring out the instruments, sing each child's name, allow each child a chance to make their own name a song. We can clap out the names in the story and the names in your classroom. We can show videos or bring in different types of instruments. We could even ask parents to connect the family to the classroom, to send in a song that they play often at home, or if they have any instruments they like to use at home. If you have any other activity ideas to use for this book, please share them with us. Comment down below, or fill it out in your survey at the end, or email me at healthychild@pitt.edu. Social emotional learning and skill building. So some of the SEL skills that we might see in this book: social awareness, relationship skills, self-management or coping, self-confidence, having agency or identity, having empathy. This book could build these skills in children in your classroom and in adults. We all have space to learn and grow when it comes to social emotional learning. Think about the teacher making a transformation to celebrate, accept, and appreciate all of the names in her classroom. What are some activities that you might use with this book to build one of these skills? Remember, when using these books, you can use them multiple times over the course of a week or 2 weeks. You don't have to focus on all of these skills at once. Pick one. Maybe this group of students that you currently have really needs to grow their relationship building skills. Pick that and run with it. Racial literacy and My Name is a Song. Let's practice seeing and naming race together. It's so important for children to start learning this at a young age. This book centers the names of Black children and children of other cultures first and foremost. Again, think about the SE skills required of a mother in this situation. It's a big ask. Think about if your child went into school and the teachers didn't make an effort to pronounce their name, or the students teased your child for their name. How would that make you feel? What kind of SE skills would that require of you? Maybe taking a deep breath, sorting out your thoughts, and responding versus reacting. We also talked about who is shouldering the burden of the harm in this story. The child in the story has to go to school, has to be brave, and has to shoulder this burden. Who should shoulder this burden? Think about what adults in the situation could address this challenge. Now, before we move into talking about the future communities of learning, let's take a minute to just close your eyes if you feel like you're in a safe space to do so. Take some deep breaths. There's a lot to think about, even in one short picture book. There's many ways that we can use this with our students. We can even use these skills and stories and activities with parents. If you do conferences, parent groups. Thank you for reading and reflecting with me today on that story. If you have any questions, wonderings, concerns, please fill it out in the QR in the survey when I show the QR code, or email me again at healthychild@pitt.edu. Our future communities of learning will have another video in January or February. March 28th is SEL Day. It will be an event that we have together with everyone participating in SEEKs across the county. April will be another video, and then May 22nd will be a big wrap-up event, again with everyone who's involved across the county in Project SEEKs SES. Now is the time to scan the QR code with the camera on your phone to answer the reflection questions. If you open up your camera on your phone and point it at the screen, a link will pop up for you to click. When you click that link, it will open up a survey for you to answer reflection questions that are the same as last time. You'll think about your own experiences. You'll think about racial literacy. You'll think about social and emotional learning. You are also still more than welcome to comment on the video if you want to start a discussion with your peers below this video on the website. Next up, as I said, answer the questions on the survey, attend our winter gathering that I've emailed you about, and join us for the next video, which talks about shifting perspectives. Some resources before we head off for this video, before we sign off. healthychildpitt.org is our website with downloadable free resources, visuals, and more. You can request a free account by clicking the registration button. Another site, Create for Education, Creating Resilience for Educators, Administrators, and Teachers, has excellent resources as you navigate the struggles of the last few years with those extra challenges that COVID brought along. There's a mobile book retail startup in Pittsburgh that's meeting kids at their dreams called the Young Dreamers Bookstore. You can go to theyoungdreamersbookstore.com to check that out. And the Office of Child Development's own Positive Racial Identity Development in Early Education, or the PRIDE program, which is racepride.pitt.edu. And they even have their own podcast called In My Skin, where they have discussions with educators and other people in the field that can talk about thinking about racial identity in early education. Thank you so much for joining us for this second Community of Learning video. We hope to see you at our event, and we can't wait to see the reflection questions, the responses you have to the reflection questions that we pose in that survey. If you have any concerns, comments, questions, please email me at healthychild@pitt.edu. Thanks again, and enjoy your day.